The crank mechanism comes pre-installed on the right side of your shade. If you prefer your crank on the left side, you have the option of moving it. First, make sure the shade opening is facing upwards towards the sky. Remove the 2 crank screws and the 2 plug disc screws. You will now be able to remove the shade from the valance. Then remove the crank mechanism and the crank plug. Next, remove the plug disc and the plug with pin. Now move the crank plug and the crank mechanism to the left side of the shade. Insert the crank plug into the top tube. Move the plug with pin and plug disc to the right side of the shade. Insert the plug with pin into the top tube. Install the plug disc onto the right side of the valance using the plug disc screws. Then install the crank mechanism onto the left side of the valance using the crank screws. Make sure the ring is facing towards the front of the shade. Reinstall the shade into the valance by first inserting the crank plug into the crank mechanism. Next, while pressing the pin in, insert the plug with pin into the plug disc. You may need to use a screwdriver to help lock it into place.